them closed-minded folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a demo tape and nobody want to hear it, but it's like this, the South got something to say. That's all I got to say.
My name is YahYa McClain. I'm a former two-time world champion boxer. I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I'm an actor. I'm a filmmaker, a boxing promoter. In fact, I promoted the majority of Laila Ali's career. Of course, I'm a husband, a son, a father, brother, cousin, uncle. I've done a lot. I am who I am. I fell in love with boxing. I would say when I was about 8 years old, because when I was younger, I used to have this big curly afro, and I was skinny, and I was long and lanky. So the people in my neighborhood tried to bully me. But they would talk junk to me. I would talk junk back to them, and I would whoop them. They try to fight me, and I whoop their ass. Period. And as I pat my curly hair after they talk junk about my hair, my afro, whatever, and call me different names, and then I whoop their ass, and I pat my afro and talk my junk back. And then I saw somebody on TV patting their afro and talking junk and whooping everybody's ass. And that was Muhammad Ali. And I was like, wow, that's what I want to do. So I started telling my moms I wanted to box. Like I said, that was around when I was 8. But when we was 10 years old, we moved from Queens to, I don't know where we moved to Roosevelt. There was some kind of way we ended up in Hempstead. No, we were living in Roosevelt, and the gym was in Hempstead, Long Island. And my mother had her brother, my uncle, take me to the gym. Howard Davis Sr., the father of Howard Davis Jr., the Olympic gold medalist in the 76 Olympics. My uncle took me to the gym one punch at a time. That gym was owned and operated by Howard Davis Sr., the father of Howard Davis Jr., who is the 76 Olympic gold medalist, Howard Davis Jr. But Howard Davis Sr. was my trainer. And the rest is history. Well, my first world championship fight was a long way away from when I was 10 years old. I think I was 25 years old. I think it was. It was in, I think, 1997. So what's that? I was born in 67. I was 10, so that was 77. So that was 20 years. About 20 years later. At the end of my career is when I met Laila Ali. I was already a world champion, and I think 2 times before I met Laila. And my last fight is when I retired, and Laila and I were dating at the time, and her first fight was coming up. So that was when, I would really start thinking about, what, I need to promote these fights so that I can control her career and not let the things that happened in my career happen to her. And so, initially I was like managing her career. And then after the first fight or so is when I started promoting her career. I started promoting boxing, period. I promoted some fights of Montel Griffin, Laila Ali, Tim Witherspoon, O'Neal Bell. I promoted a bunch of people. But my focus was on making sure Laila's career didn't go as my career went. I mean, and of course it shouldn't, because she's the daughter of the greatest. But that's when I really began my boxing promotion company. But that was also, I also had the confidence to do that because I had already been promoting concerts. I used to promote jazz concerts in Vegas. So concerts and boxing, I've been boxing all my life and promoting jazz concerts. I have a perfect platform, perfect person to promote. Makes all the sense in the world to me. And it came out beautifully. Okay, so the South got something to say about boxing. Is very appropriate. And of course, the way that I initially came up with the idea was from when Andre 3000 at the was it 1996 Source Awards, and he told the world the South got something to say, and he was talking about hip hop. And look what happened from there. Look what Atlanta has turned into, the mecca for it, for hip hop. And I truly believe the same, that the South got something to say about boxing. And so that's what made me think about it. And I was like, you know what? The South got something to say about boxing. Like, for instance, you got Vernon Forrest that came up out here. You got Evander Holyfield that came up out here. You got Rashid. He died before his time to really shine. I did a lot of my amateur career training here. And my professional career, I had a lot of fights fighting here. There are so many more fighters, and now we have Brian Norman Jr., the youngest world champion currently today. The youngest world champion currently today, right here in Georgia, from Decatur where it's greater. And there are just so many more fighters that really can fight here in Atlanta, but have not been given their opportunity yet. And so, me as a fighter, knowing what it takes to get your opportunity, knowing what it takes to shine, and with all the media outlets that they are today, I figured it's the perfect time for me to go ahead and do what I truly love. Boxing is my passion. I love it. And I don't do it to try to rob fighters or give them bad contracts. I do it because I love it. Yes, of course, I'm going to make a living doing it. But I'm going to give fighters the opportunity because I am a fighter. In 10 years, I see the South got something to say about boxing being changed to I told you the South got something to say about boxing. And the South having a gang of world champions, and Atlanta, Georgia, and the South become the mecca for boxing. And all the big fights, like, for instance, Clarissa Shields is making, I think this is her second training camp being held here in Atlanta, Georgia. And other fighters are coming to Georgia because this is where it's at. There's so many fighters here, so much good sparring here. I mean, it's the outlet, So to any young, aspiring young man or young lady that has dreams or is interested in boxing or becoming a boxer, that has the dream of becoming a world champion, first thing to do is to go to Google in your neighborhood, in your city or town. Type in boxing gyms, find a gym, or make some phone calls if you know somebody, and find the trainers that are in your area. But in other words, you got to be in it to win it. So just go get in it. Go to a gym, find a gym, and start your journey. And, if you know people that have already been involved in the sport, you may want to ask them who they should go to in their area. Because in most areas, whatever area you're in, there is a most popular trainer, which doesn't mean he's the best. So that's why you have to ask someone that you really know and trust. But I mean, it's the beginner journey, so just get involved. Just get in the gym. Learn how to throw a jab. Learn how to wrap your hands. But the main thing that I can tell you is keep your hands up and stay on your feet. But for real, listen, because none of these trainers, managers, promoters, none of those people are coming to you right now. Right now, you're coming to them. So you're only going to them because you want to learn. So listen to what they tell you, do it. But now once you get all good and, start whooping everybody and winning medals and trophies and championships, then they're going to come to you. It's one of my most memorable moments with Muhammad Ali. Well, there's a couple of them. One was we were at his house in Michigan, and I'm up like this, sitting in the chair watching. We're going over watching his fights, and there's a nightstand here, and there's another chair here, and he's sitting in the chair like he's sleeping. He out watching all his fights, but then the Cleveland Williams fights comes on, and he's like this, and then he said, watch this, I fucked that motherfucker, I fucked that. Man, I will never forget that, man. That was very, very memorable. And the other thing was, all right, so like I said, I was interested in boxing since I was 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, I was interested in boxing, and then I saw Muhammad Ali. Laila Ali is 10 years younger than me. So that means I was an Ali fan before Laila Ali was born. So for me to be a fan of Muhammad Ali my entire life, and then to get this phone call that I'm about to tell you about, it was something. It was everything to me at that time. So one day I'm sitting at home, and I get the phone call. Assalamu alaikum. I said, wa alaikum assalam. What's up, champ? Man. I said, what, champ? Man, you got to make that thing right. I said, what you talking about, champ? He said, man, you Muslim, I'm Muslim. You got to living over there with that girl in sin. You got to marry that woman. And he was talking about me marrying his daughter. So for the guy that I looked up to my entire life to tell me to marry his daughter, that was something good to me. Every time I hear someone ask me to tell them about my experience on Creed, I have to tell them about the audition process and how I got the gig. Because it was a time of my life that I didn't think nothing about no acting. I didn't care about no movie. Because December 27th of 21, my older brother, Mark, died of complications from COVID. 6 days later, my mother died from complications of COVID. And I get back, and both of those happened in Vegas. Then I get back here after burying both my mother and my brother. I get back to Atlanta, and my wife, she told me she had COVID, so I came back here to hurry up and, check her out. And I came in the house with a full hazmat suit on because I just lost my mother and my brother. I'm not playing with COVID at all. And so I went and came to the house, sprayed it down, and my wife, thank God, was, she came out, she's all good. And then 6 days from there, now my brother, and then 6 days later, my mother. Then I come home, 6 days later, I get an audition for Creed. And I'm like, man, I don't feel like doing no damn audition. But then I started thinking, my mother took us to the movies to see the first Rocky. Me, my older brother, my younger brother, we all went to see it as a family. And so I was like, nah. And then my mother, took me to the gym and had me boxing all my life, was at all my fights. My brothers was at all my fights. So boxing was a big part of our family. It was a family thing. So to not audition for this, I could hear my mother saying, no, you what? You ain't what? Oh, you gonna try. And then she do a finger like this. Oh, you gonna try. You what? And so I just kept hearing that. And so I was like, all right. So I went to the gym down the street. I think it was Granite City. And I told somebody to hold the, I think that's how it happened. I went to Granite City. Anyway, I just told somebody to take the phone, hold this. And then I started going, let's go, champ. Let's go. It's your time to shine. Let's go, champ. I did what a fighter, what a trainer does in the corner with his fighter. When his fighter may be losing or when he just needs his fighter to do more, this is how he would act. And so that's just what I did. And, you know, by the grace of God, I booked the audition. And Michael B. Jordan was awesome because now, when I booked the role, I was only supposed to be on set for 2 days. I was only supposed to be in the first scene. But I was the trainer of Jonathan Majors, who Jonathan Majors is a very cool dude, and I learned a lot from him on set. He's a phenomenal actor, and I have nothing but great things to say about him. Now, I was only supposed to be on set for 2 days. But, so when you book a role, like I did, a small role, you don't get the script. You get your sides, 2 pages, and you read your sides, and that's it. But when I got to the set, someone put the whole script in my trailer. Well, I had a lot of time, so I read the script. And when I read the script, I found some things that would never happen in a fighter's life. And I didn't know Michael B. Jordan from nowhere. But I went up to him at this time. Remember, I just buried my mother and my brother. So really, I don't care about nothing. I don't have nothing to lose. I'm going for whatever. And so I walked up to Michael B. Jordan and I said, "Hey, bro, listen, let me tell you something." I said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" He was like, "Yeah, come on." And I said, "Listen, I read the script and I found this right here. And this I've been fighting my entire life. I'm a former 2-time world champion boxer, a promoter. I've done everything in boxing except judge. So this right here would never happen." And I told him about it, and he goes, "Wow, yeah, but it's already casted and it shoots out in L.A." I said, "Hey, Mike, I like L.A." And he chuckled, and he goes, "You know what? Let me think about it." Then he came back the next day, and he goes, "We're gonna make that work. We're gonna make that change." And so I went from being on set for 2 days to being on set for 7 months. The type of difference in pay. Oh man, it was just a blessing. It was just a blessing, man, and it was truly something that I will never forget. And it was a phenomenal experience. I've been in a bunch of movies. I've been on a bunch of TV sets, and this set was by far the most enjoyable. It was just right at the right time, and then we flew to LA. It was awesome, and it was very much needed at the time. Now, I will say that there was one point that there was a girl. She was one of the ring girls, and her trailer was in the next trailer next to mine. And I happened to step out step out the trailer, and she stepped out on her trailer at the same time. And she asked me, she goes, "You're an actor. I just want to ask you a question because I really think that this booking this gig for me, it's changed my life. It saved my life." I'm like, "Why do you say that?" She goes, "Because my brother just committed suicide and my mom just died." And she took me right back. And both of us just broke down crying. But you know me, I had to be the G, so I had to hold it together or get it back together. And that was it was an experience, man. It was something, and like those tears just don't never stop. I don't even remember what we were talking about now.
We were on the story, but
so boxing has been my life. You know, I've learned so much from boxing, and through boxing, I've had the confidence to walk into a room anywhere and speak to whomever about whatever. And not because I think I'm so tough, but because I think I'm so tough. I mean, really, so that just knowing that I could fight. Not that I'm thinking like, okay, we're gonna fight, but just that little bit of whatever it is, it allows me to go in a room and talk to anybody. So, for instance, my very first audition was for the movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back. And when I walked into the room on that Sony lot and I saw the list, I thought it was a list for the Grammys. I saw G Money, I can't remember. I saw a bunch of people in that room. And so when I walked into the room, because this was my first audition, I don't know how it goes. I don't know if I'm going to audition in front of everybody or if I go into a room by myself. So when I walked in there and I saw those people, I was like, oh, and I got a little like, ooh, hold up now. So I walked back out the room to gather myself. And I was like, man, I'll whoop everybody in there if they laugh. And the confidence from boxing, I went back in there, and of course, that's not how the audition process went. But I was able to go in there and do an audition, and I got a call back. I didn't book the role, but I got a call back on my first audition to play the lead role, to play the role that Taye Diggs played. I think that was pretty good. And I think that I was able to do that because of the confidence in boxing that boxing has given me. And that type of scenario has been the key to me, like doing a whole bunch of things. Like that's why I've done so many things in my life, because I feel like whatever I want to do, I'm going to go for it. We only have one life to live. And so whatever it is I want to do, I'm going to go for it. If I want to box, I'm going to box. If I want to referee, I'm a referee. If I want to promote, I'm going to promote. If I want to act, I'm going to act. I want to make a movie, I'll make a movie. You know, and so those were the types of things that I really believe boxing allowed me to do. So anybody out there that's lacking confidence or that's thinking about boxing, go for it. But always remember, keep your hands up and stay on your feet. Peace.
Them closed-minded folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a demo tape and nobody want to hear it, but it's like this, the South got something to say. That's all I got to say.